Aloha! Welcome back to Yama Studios. My name is Hannah Maruyama. I am a scalp micropigmentation practitioner at Yama Studios, which is a paramedical tattoo clinic on Oahu in Honolulu, Hawaii. Today, I'm going to be answering one of the most frequently asked questions about scalp micropigmentation, and that is hair pigmentation safe? I love this question because while tattoos in general do have a reputation from history, from being something that's a little bit more on the risky side, there is an entire industry now that is devoted to this type of paramedical tattoo, and it is actually much safer with a much lower risk of any sort of bloodborne pathogen. It is actually a much lower risk procedure than a traditional tattoo, and I'm going to go into that right now. So scalp micropigmentation is a totally different procedure from a traditional tattoo. The tools are different, the pigment is different, the needle is different, and then even the method of work and best procedures for safety and sanitation is different because tattoo artists tend to have a much larger clientele, and scalp micropigmentation practitioners tend to work with a much smaller client base and in a much more one-on-one environment. This reduces the chance for any type of cross-contamination, and then on top of that, now all scalp micropigmentation practitioners are subject to different states' laws for tattooing and licensing. So as long as you make sure that your scalp micropigmentation practitioner is a licensed tattoo artist in your state, you have mitigated almost all risk. Because once you've done that, the risk gets even lower. With scalp micropigmentation, the method of using needles is actually very different from traditional tattoo. We use individually packaged sterilized cartridges. This isn't the standard for all traditional tattoo, which does contribute sometimes to the risk of cross-contamination and other bloodborne pathogens. But with scalp micropigmentation, individual use needles, a smaller group of clientele, and then also the fact that scalp micropigmentation heals much faster once you get out into the world contribute to a lower risk factor. The odds of you getting an infection from scalp micropigmentation is very low. Most of the time, when you're having scalp micropigmentation, there's almost no bleeding. The reason for this is because scalp micropigmentation actually goes into a different level of the skin than a traditional tattoo, and that does contribute to the overall result and the overall technique being totally different. If you have traditional tattoo and then you go in and have scalp micropigmentation, it'll become very obvious to you that while tattoo and scalp micropigmentation are cousins, they are not even in the same realm as far as risk factor and also just different practices. There's little risk for scalp micropigmentation because of the environment and practice used to perform it, and this can be reduced even further by following proper aftercare instructions. The biggest risk in scalp micropigmentation is going to be infection. As long as you don't expose your scalp during the first 4 days after a procedure to things that may give it an infection, like going into a pond or a sauna or touching things at the gym and then touching your head while you have, it's essentially an open cut, you do run the risk of giving yourself an infection. But if you do not do these things, it's very unlikely that you'll have any issues with your scalp micropigmentation. The risk of any sort of complication within the cosmetic or paramedical tattoo community is very low, and that is contributed to by the difference in practices and different types of application that are used. So in short, scalp micropigmentation and hair pigmentation are very safe procedures and very low risk. They're often performed on people who have underlying conditions as long as the doctor signs off on them. And that actually has a lot to do with the responsibility that the community takes on to make sure the clientele are safe, because it is a different service from a traditional tattoo. And I will reiterate that though the risk is low, you can reduce any risk at all even further by going to a licensed tattoo practitioner, a specialized scalp micropigmentation practitioner, and making sure that you follow the aftercare. And if on top of that, you make sure you're very cognizant of touching your scalp within the 4 days after you've had your procedure, there's very little risk of any issues. If you liked this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to see more of these when I post them. If you have comments, questions, or feedback for me, go ahead and drop that below. And then if you want to get in contact with me because you're in Hawaii or on Oahu and you have questions about whether or not scalp micropigmentation is right for you, then just let me know and we will get you into a free consult where I will go over all of this with you and answer your questions. You can get in contact with me by shooting me a DM on Instagram, sending me a Facebook message, or shooting me an email via our website at yamastudios.co, which is linked in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and aloha.